Prepare your credit like the pros. How to properly dispute negative accounts. Part 3. Warning. Don't make the fatal mistake of giving too much information. When a person calls the creditor or writes out a long story of what happened and why, they are sabotaging their success. Listen, no one at the creditor's office cares about you personally, so don't get into it. Don't write about your trials and tribulations. Don't tell them about your doctor visits. Don't mention your children. And don't call the salespeople at the auto shop scumbags or other names. Just use a basic template, modifying it as needed. Can I personalize it, you may ask? The answer is yes, as long as you don't admit fault or guilt. Do not say I made a mistake, I didn't know better at the time, my bookkeeper messed up, or I was tricked and deceived. If you do, you are cementing the bad mark into your report and will not be able to get deleted for a very, very long time. This is why a friend of mine, a top expert in the credit restoration, refuses to take on a client who has been communicating in this way on his own at first. On the other hand, if you personalize it, you can help your cause if you do it properly. At the end of the chapter are some examples. However, if you are unsure, then simply use the template letter, filling in your own name, address, account number, etc. After you complete this step, the creditor will either agree to delete the negative item or not. Either way, you will receive notice. At this point, many creditors will agree to deleting the negative item simply because they don't want to go through the hassle of digging up old records for proper verification. Time is money to them. Other times, they will agree to delete the negative item because they want to keep you as a customer, and they figure they will come out ahead financially by making you happy so that you keep spending money at their store. This is good business sense, and it is within their legal right. Unfortunately, some stubborn company employees will come back saying the negative item was true, correct, and it remains on your report. Don't despair if this happens. It happens every day in the attorney and credit repair company offices. And they don't despair or give up. They simply move on to step 4, and that is what you're simply going to do also. Step 4. Demand written proof called debt validation. Important point. Debt validation only applies to debt collectors, the collection companies that buy debts from the original creditor, or the in-house collection division of the company. The original creditor is not required to provide you complete debt validation. The original creditor must provide you with a copy of the original agreement between the parties, such as the loan note or credit card agreement, preferably signed by you. If they don't want to extend courteous customer service and agree to delete a past mistake so that you can get on with your life, then you have the legal right to demand a debt validation. This step is going to be inconvenient for them, which is good for you. The Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, FDCPA, is a law that gives you the right to receive the following 5 documents. 1. An explanation of what the alleged debt is for. This is so you receive assurance that the so-called debt really belongs to you. 2. A complete payment history of the account that includes the calculations showing how they arrived at the balance. This is so you have proof that the amount they claim is owed is the correct amount. 3. A copy of the agreement signed credit application that shows you agreed to pay this debt. This is so you have proof it belongs to you, as opposed to someone else with the same name, or perhaps someone who forged your signature. 4. A copy of the agreement that grants the collection agency authority to collect on the aged debt. This applies if the debt has been sold to a third-party agency, which they do have the right to do. 5. A copy of the creditor's state license, including their license number. This is so you know they are a valid company and not some scammer overseas who is trying to get your money illegally. Make note on this for later. If you request debt validation and the company sends you back only part of the information requested, that is not proper debt validation. Now you have the right to send a letter to the credit bureau demanding that they remove the account because proper validation was not received. Use letter number 11 in your packet. Also good to know, if the collector fails to provide proper debt validation but continues to go after you for payment, you have the right to sue in a federal or state court. You may be awarded $1,000 or possibly more, if your state allows, per lawsuit. However, some courts have said that if the collector provided you with a description of the amount owed and the name and address of the original creditor, that was sufficient as far as the court was concerned. Not all judges are the same in their interpretation of debt validation.